Hello. Welcome to the Creative Are You podcast. I share information that'll help you to believe that you're creative too, if you think that you're not, or if you believe that you're not. This podcast is entitled Fear of Being Creative. Now, I want you to ask yourself, do I fear being creative? I believe that creativity pertains to most things that we do. Creativity is not only limited to creative projects or projects that pertain to skill, craft, or art. Creativity extends far beyond what those things are. All right. So again, this podcast entitled Fear of Being Creative. I'm going to share a blog article, a review that actually lists fears that could contribute to fear of being creative. So I'm actually going to share two. I'm not going to, go into every single part of that list. But anyhow, I just want to say thank you for tuning in to the Creative Are You podcast. And I will share the first quote, or actually the first paragraph. I mean, it's maybe a few sentences. Actually, creativityworkshop.com. Okay. And there are fears listed, and I will speak on a couple of those. Well, I will speak on the ones that I actually speak about, that I actually read. Okay. And the first one reads, using your creativity means welcoming trial and error into our lives. Okay, I'm going to just stop right there. How many of us welcome trial and error into our lives? How many of us want to do every single thing perfectly? We know we can't do that. All right. So I would encourage you to welcome trial and error. Okay. Give yourself the space to make what we call a mistake. It continues to read, it's common knowledge that most people who succeed brilliantly have failed devastatingly. Now, what do y'all think about that? People who succeed brilliantly have failed devastatingly. These are people that were not afraid to actually give themselves a chance. They keep insisting on their vision, on their right to explore. We all have a right to explore, okay? We don't always have to follow the book of every single thing. Now, remember, we can follow the book, but the book was created. Somebody's creative energy, somebody's creative insight created the book. Someone may say, well, I need an Excel sheet to follow my schedule. Listen, someone had to create the schedule. I mean, I like logistics, and listen, somebody had to create the process to follow. All right. Creativity creates systems. Keep insisting on their vision, on their right to explore, question, and yes, make mistakes. We should give us the space, okay, to make mistakes, to make what we call mistakes. Now, these mistakes can be learned from, and you can build from those. Pursuing their ideas and following their gut feelings are more important to them than worrying if they are right or not. We have to develop the muscle. And right now I'm speaking to individuals who don't practice the awareness of being creative. For those of you that do, I'm not talking to you. Okay? But for those of you that practice the awareness, listen, we need to talk to the individuals that don't practice the awareness and let them know that they're creative too. We're all creative. Everyone's creative looks different on every individual, and we have to invite all forms of creativity. All right. So in the entirety of that particular quote, I completely agree. Okay. I agree that using your creativity means welcoming trial and error into our lives. You can't be afraid to miss it. Okay. Now, mind you, even though I'm somebody that I consider myself to be a creative person, but there are things that I've allowed myself to not start because I was afraid to get it wrong. And once I got to a place where I was not afraid to get it wrong, it's like I was able to be free in that particular situation. Okay. Um, and I'll actually speak. I'll actually speak more about it in this particular podcast. I have one more quote to share, and I will further elaborate on my outlook and my feelings on on this particular topic. Next reads, creativity thrives on uncertainty. And I mean, I sort of agree with that. That would not be my word choice. Um, that wouldn't be my exact word choice. So I slightly, just a tad, disagree with that. But let's continue reading, because I'm pretty sure the heart of the explanation I'm fully in alignment with. It continues to read, if we always knew the outcome of our creative endeavors, we would probably be too bored to complete them. Now that statement, I can agree with. I agree that the breaking of the monotony of whether you're certain or uncertain, okay, sort of piques your interest a little bit. All right. So, I mean, I do agree with that statement. It continues to read, uncertainty, curiosity, stumbling, one foot after the other. We create our own unique yellow brick road of imagination. I like that. Yeah, I like the yellow brick road analogy. Some people's yellow brick road could be a straight line. I mean, I don't think anyone's. Well, you know what? Let me scratch that. Ain't no one's yellow brick road a straight line. I think everyone has a windiness to their yellow brick road, but everyone's curves is going to look different from one another. Okay. We all explore differently. The way I explore doesn't have to be the way that you explore. Okay. And I'm pretty sure during my exploring, I made what we call mistakes. But you know what? I learned from that mistake, and I continue to move forward. And I learned how to move forward without making mistakes. Or I just learn from it and keep making mistakes, but still end up in the place where I want to end up. So let me continue to read. We can live gracefully with uncertainty when we stay connected to the part of ourselves that gets joy from the fact of creation, rather than always looking to what its product is going to be. Now, like I said, word choice wise, I don't know that this would be my word choice. But what I will say is this. Whenever I am, let's say I want to go downtown, okay, and I am thinking that I'm going to go this particular route. Okay, so what if I run into a roadblock? Well, if I run into a roadblock, I have to think there's more than one way to get downtown. I'm going to get downtown one way or another. Okay. Now, maybe, okay, as far as the uncertainty part, maybe I have to be open to not getting downtown. But I already know there are 4 or 5 ways that I can get downtown just in this particular scenario. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get off this exit, or I'm going to make this left, and I'm going to go the other route that I know to go. Okay. And I'm going to get downtown. Okay, so as far as the uncertainty piece, I really do believe that there are more cases where we can be successful as opposed to unsuccessful. And I also think that the end result may not always turn out the way that you first saw it, but it can still be successful. And I would also say that there are times that the end product or the end goal turns out to be exactly the way that I thought it to be in the beginning. So, I mean, that's the cool part about creativity. Creativity is something that I more so cooperate with versus something that, I'm making up. I don't feel like I'm making it up. I feel like it's something that is being given to me, and it's something that I'm cooperating with in order to give something that is needed. Okay, there's someone else that needs the results of my creativity. But on a more practical level, if I have a rip in my jeans, okay, I can get upset that my jeans are ripped, or I can just cut the jeans all together and turn them into some shorts. And we all know that there are shorts that are deliberately ripped and sold in stores. Okay. So there are different levels to it, yet has no limits. So I really do appreciate you checking out this podcast. And I have many more blogs and articles that I utilize and that I share. And I'm always going to have the links to the blogs, articles, and reviews in the description for you to also check out. But here's the thing, you all. I really want you all to take this seriously. Now, I know I'm just talking about creativity, but this really is a thing. It really is a thing that there are some individuals who don't think that they're creative. In fact, the individual that I'm speaking to is the individual who did everything by the book. Okay, this individual is 31, a male. Okay, did everything by the book. Went to college, made 4.5, GPA in high school. 4.5 and above in college, scholarship. Awesome career, making a very nice salary. 31 again, yet this individual is not happy because he does not feel creative. He doesn't feel that he's creative. Now, if I spoke with this individual, and I feel like I am speaking to this individual right now, I would say to him, first of all, you're more creative than you realize. Secondly, your creativity doesn't look like other people's creativity. Everyone's creativity looks different. Number 3, practice the awareness of creativity more, and you'll see that it's involved and it's threaded into more things than you realize. Okay, so I could go on and on about it. And as far as, like I said, as far as art endeavors, crafty endeavors, things of that nature, of course that involves creativity, because you're bringing something that didn't exist, into something that does exist. If you're doing a painting or if you're creating music, all of that stuff. Okay, yeah, we get that. We highly associate crafts, arts, music, singing, writing, acting, dancing. We highly associate those things with creativity, but creativity extends far beyond those things. You can get creative with money. You can get creative with relationships. You can get creative with conversations or within conversations. You can get creative with how I explained earlier, the route to downtown in case you come into a roadblock. You can explore creativity in your thinking. If you feel like you're experiencing a cloud, well, you can declutter your thinking. Okay. You can get out of depression by being creative. So we're going to talk a little more about all these things, and there are more blogs, articles, and reviews that reinforces some of what I bring up. But, for today, this is what I will share. And I thank you so much for joining me, and visit the links in the description and take advantage as you see fit. And I just thank you. And once again, you are creative. And like this podcast states, creative are you. The reason why I say that is I like to flip the words so that you get a different perspective on what the phrase means. Okay. You are creative. Yes, that's true. But remember, creative are you, because I want to put the emphasis on what you are. Creative are you. Okay. So yeah, thank you for going a rant. See you on the next podcast, or you'll hear me on the next podcast. Enjoy the music, and thank you for joining me on this podcast.